And another Fox News alert, line stretching around Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, as President Trump is preparing to kick off his re-election campaign with a rally tonight. Florida is a crucial battleground for the Trump campaign, and in many ways it reflects the diversity of the country as a whole. This is Outnumbered, and I'm Melissa Francis. Here today, Julie Banderas, Town Hall editor and Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich, host of Kennedy on the Fox Business Network, Kennedy herself, and joining us in the center seat, opinion editor for the Washington Times and Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt, who did not dress up for us today. Your sneakers really tell the whole tale.
Well, you know, when you get, I've discovered when you get old, your back starts hurting.
Okay.
And so you know, fashion, I don't care about fashion.
They're fashionable.
I'm all about comfort now.
You might want to.
I love it. Me too.
And my very least.
My shoes
any report on the bursitis, Grandpa?
Right. Supporters of President Trump.
You don't want me to start talking about.
Okay, come on now.
Problems.
Started lining up in Orlando more than 40 hours before the rally kicks off. The president tweeting that his campaign has received more than 100,000 ticket requests for the arena, which holds 20,000 people. Here's some of what we've heard from folks on the ground so far.
I'm very excited to see Trump, and I'm excited to see what he has to say for what he's going to do in 2020. People were partying, there was trucks playing music. It was awesome, nonstop party. I loved it.
We arrived at 6:30 in the morning, and we were third. The first arriver arrived at 2:30, and he rode a bus over from Panama City.
Trump supporters are very, very unified. We love him, and we love each other, and we accept each other, and we come from all walks of life.
President Trump tweeting this morning, the fake news doesn't report it, but Republican enthusiasm is at an all-time high. Look what's going on in Orlando, Florida right now. People have never seen anything like it unless you play a guitar. Going to be wild. See you later. The president's focus on Florida is no big surprise. The last Republican to win the White House without Florida was, this is like a trivia question, President Calvin Coolidge in 1924. And with its 29 electoral votes, Florida is the biggest swing state prize. Go Florida. Charlie Hurt, are you going to go down there and vote, re-register,
that's not a bad idea. But I feel like I'm pretty good at interpreting what Trump's tweets. What is the unless you have a guitar?
He's a rock star. You're saying I'm a rock star. The only other people are rock stars.
Charlie, really?
I am.
You really didn't get that?
I'm getting older. No, I didn't get it. I looked at it again and again. Granted, I'm not a rock star. I never have been. So that's you know.
That's what.
Is he going to win Florida?
I think that, you know, trying to look at the polls today is sort of absurd. 2018, everybody was as wrong about Florida as they were in 2016, and I think that he is in a very, very good position to win. You can't buy that kind of enthusiasm, and I get that there's a lot of enthusiasm against Trump around the country. But show me one Democratic candidate. Where's Beto now? Show me one Democratic candidate that can inspire that kind of enthusiasm.
Kennedy, what's interesting to me is that, so last time around they said the president had no ground game, he didn't have infrastructure, he didn't have technology, he didn't have all these different types of things. This time you hear behind the scenes about just the force that he has behind him, looking at where do we need to go and rally? Where do we need to go focus on people? Where do we need to shore up support? So he's got sort of that deep political game behind him this time.
And Florida is his obsession. He really has a single-minded lock on Florida. That's where his chief pollster is from. That's where his campaign strategy, or his campaign chair is from. And the state is so critically important to him because he spends more time in Florida than he does anywhere else other than the White House. And it really is. And the polling was essentially 1 point either way, and he won Florida by 1.2 percentage points. So it was a tight race with Hillary Clinton, and we'll see what happens and who the Democrats put up. I'm not entirely confident it's going to be Joe Biden at this point, but the president is running against himself in Florida more than anywhere else. It's his personality versus his policies, so they will decide.
And you have to keep in mind that these people who are showing up for the rally and the 100,000 tickets that were requested, that's not just people who want to go and hang out with President Trump. They are volunteering, they're willing to knock on doors, they're willing to talk to their neighbors and friends about why they should be Trump supporters, and that translates not just in Florida, but also in places like Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin.
Is that different, though? Because, and Melissa was right, Hillary Clinton had a better ground game. She had a lot more money. So have they shifted their strategy to more door knocking?
Well, the benefit that Trump has and had in 2016 is that they are reaching out to new voters. So obviously the base is shored up for him, but his base is full of a bunch of new people who weren't there before. And so they can go out and make the case that, look, I was a Democratic voter who voted for Obama twice. And I thought about voting for Hillary Clinton, but at the end of the day, I voted for Donald Trump. And these are the reasons why. And this is why he's delivered for me on the things that I voted for him in the first place. And so Republicans have always been criticized for not reaching out to the demographics that they historically or even recently haven't been able to gather in terms of votes. Trump has a way of getting people to at least consider changing their party affiliation and moving across the aisle. And the numbers from the RNC and the Trump campaign in terms of how many people are volunteering tell that story.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at these crowds, look at the pictures that we have on your screen right now, and all of these people showing up. I wonder, you know, it's hard to imagine for past presidents, if they went out during, you know, their first term to kind of have you know, what is essentially a pep rally. Julie,
I mean,
do you feel like you've seen this before?
No, I don't. I mean, not in the state of Florida, but I mean, it's interesting. You know, he mentioned, and Katie, you just brought it up, that there were 100,000 people that requested tickets. There's only room for 20,000 in the arena. And the only other person really that's trying to really hit up Florida is Joe Biden. I mean, if you could compare him to any other candidate right now, and Joe Biden isn't getting these kind of crowds. I mean, he is kind of running against the president instead of the primary, which we'll talk about later. But the president really has unprecedented support in the state of Florida. And the last time he was there in 2016 was for the thank you rally. And I think those Floridians want to come back and thank him for the job that they